Salutations everyone, it is Matty here, and welcome to my review for Sniper Elite 4. Sniper Elite always gives me a good feeling on the inside. Sniper Elite 3 was the first game I ever live streamed, and it was the second game I ever received a review copy for. Suffice to say, I was very much anticipating this game. It's a palate cleanser title as it's so different from so many other games out there. Does Sniper Elite 4 continue the natural progression of the franchise through bigger and better levels, or does it buckle under its own weight? Let's find out. To quickly answer my own question, yes and yes, this is the biggest Sniper Elite and at times the best, but sometimes it loses focus on what makes Sniper Elite titles so unique, thus hurting the game. Each of Sniper Elite 4's 8 levels are vast and loaded with objectives to complete. Each mission will roughly take you a little bit more than an hour or so if you take your time. The level design in some missions is spectacular, as it adds more verticality than ever to this series, which makes it so incredibly rewarding when you get to that sniper perch and you start raining bullets on Nazis. The first mission does an incredible job of setting the tone of what a Sniper Elite game is. Open to explore, full of options, peaks and valleys. The expanded size of these areas is wonderful, especially because unlike in previous entries of the franchise where if you goofed up, everyone knew where you were located, in 4, you're able to clean up the local mess without everyone in the level knowing your whereabouts. So where do things go wrong? Well, let's put it this way. When the level design is good, it's very good, which makes the blunders on some missions stand out like a sore thumb. I found myself using my silenced pistol a good majority of the time, where I slowly began to question if the title of this game needed an adjustment to Pistol Elite 4. Yes, during the loadout section before each mission you can equip additional silenced sniper bullets, which make things much easier, but enemies don't drop them almost ever. Meanwhile, your pistol is constantly replenished with ammo on each enemy, making it an ideal approach considering a lot of sections of the levels are very flat and close quarters, practically forcing you to take that approach. Don't get me wrong, I liked being pushed out of my comfort zone and trying new things instead of always being the silent killer from hundreds of meters away, but it felt as if there wasn't enough of that. You can always kick generators and blend your shots in with the sounds that they and other objects on the map make, and I see the idea and what they were going for, but in practice, I felt it removes what makes Sniper Elite unique. Put it this way, if I wanted to crawl around with a pistol most of the time, there are a lot of other games we could think up. Sniper Elite is best when it puts sniping at the forefront, which this game often doesn't. The dynamic nature of each level, though, allows for multiple approaches, making most missions fun, where I could take somebody out, booby trap their body, make some noise, and lure them into a trap, or shoot the shit out of them. This game is mostly free and open, plus Carl is more mobile than ever, making traversal easier. AI in this game can be quite questionable. Sometimes they walk into walls, other times they sit there waiting to be shot when they detected you. Yes, they will see you, run and hide for cover, and you'll track them down and pop them one by one as they face where you used to be. Much like the level design at times, the AI here can be quite weird, or just normal good AI. Regardless, it's a good time blasting holes through people's organs with the trademark X-ray kill cams. As an old Italian violin quietly plays in the background, and man, this game's soundtrack is going to be very underrated, I'll tell you that right now. The ambient music during the levels is some seriously atmospheric stuff, bringing the beautiful Italy to life, which, if you couldn't tell by now, the game is pretty to look at. I mean, the lighting is just fantastic in my opinion, but sometimes the textures are trash, but mostly, I just found myself taking in the sights with its wonderful draw distance. I don't know what to feel about the story in this game. I can't tell if I would rather them not try at all, or just make a genuine attempt that they did in Sniper Elite 4, forcing me to almost like seize into a ball at times in my chair. The voice acting legitimately made me laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, I support the devs and actors where I can, but this was a first for me. I think any of us here could have pulled off a better Italian accent than this supposed mobster.
Call me Salvatore, it will suffice. Are we not friends, you and I?
And this dude, is he trying to imitate a Solarian from Mass Effect?
Your guess is as good as mine. Partisans have an HQ. You find that might be some help.
I was in awe. I appreciate the attempt. Genuinely, I do. But I think the focus should be on getting all the gameplay right, which I feel they just didn't. If you're buying this, it's strictly for the gameplay. After your 10-hour adventure, you get to hop into some multiplayer. There's a Gears-like horde mode, but I actually preferred the modes the multiplayer offered. One mode had a dead man's land in the middle as teams faced off in sniper battles. It was constantly intense as I was picking and choosing when I wanted to pop out of cover and search for an enemy, but also risk that I might be spotted and sniped out of cover. Others are more fast-paced, like Team Deathmatch. Sadly, I didn't get to play much because, well, it's launch week and I'm already struggling to find a match online, which is very reminiscent of Sniper Elite 3, sadly. The multiplayer isn't bad, but the player base just doesn't seem to be there, which is upsetting because the potential is there. It's a good time if you can find a match, so just know that your time won't be wasted in these modes if you actually get around to playing, which I feel I had too much of a struggle with. Speaking of struggle, Sniper Elite 4. Yeah, overall, it struggles at times, but it does justice to the series in many parts. It's the biggest and prettiest entry despite leading to occasional level design errors. Its multiplayer has great potential, but no player base to sustain it. This is a title I'm gonna have to say you gotta wait for a sale on. You can finish the campaign within 2 days or really 1 day. I did it in a full sitting if you really put your time into it, and the additional content afterwards is solid, but I'd say it's increasingly difficult to find a multiplayer match as time goes on, not the other way around. If you save this game for around the $30 price range, that's when you should scoop it up, because then you'll have a great time with all that's offered and be able to look past some of its shortcomings. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to fire away in the comments down below. I'll try my best to get back to you when I can. Be sure to consider contributing to the Patreon. It fuels all the content we create here. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.